Hey girl, open the walls, play with your dolls. We'll be a perfect family. When you walk away, it's when we really play. You don't hear me.
Britain's Home Secretary accused of lying about Jamaican deportees. Britain's Home Secretary, Sajid Javid, has been accused of lying when he told his country's parliament that all of the 29 Jamaicans who were deported to Jamaica on Wednesday. His comments have been met with condemnation from members of parliament, campaigners and the detainees themselves, according to an article in the Independent newspaper. It has since emerged that one of the deportees, 23-year-old Cheevan Brown, was placed on the special charter flight after serving a 7-month sentence for a driving offense. His father Vance said that was the only crime his son has been convicted of. Vance Brown, 48, who had to arrange for his son to be picked up by a friend in Jamaica, said, "The government has got no morals. It is so harsh. How can they say that about someone else's child when it's a lie?" About 8 detainees narrowly avoided deportation after they were given a last-minute reprieve and said they felt they had been labeled for crimes they did not commit, while relatives of deportees expressed fear that people in Jamaica would give their loved ones a hostile reception because they had all been dubbed as serious criminals, the Independent report said. Labour MP David Lammy urged Javid to apologise, accusing him of deporting first and asking questions later without considering whether the public interest in the removals was greater than the harm caused to those deported and their families. Lammy's position is borne out in a statement made by Vance Brown about his son. He said, "People gravitate to what they hear from the Home Secretary here. They're going to believe that," he said. "It creates a big risk to him. He doesn't know what to do, who to go to. He's saying, should I just give up on life?" He was in tears. All of those who were flown to Jamaica had criminal convictions, but all have served their sentences in UK jails, and campaigners argue that their removal, which for many means returning alone to a country they left as young children. Karen Doyle, of campaign group Movement for Justice, said Javid's remarks were patently untrue and a clear attempt to obfuscate the realities of the people affected and dampen public sympathy and in danger of corruption blacklist, Phillips warns. Political leaders must come under greater scrutiny if Jamaica is to be wrested from the grips of corruption, Dr. Peter Phillips has warned, predicting that the economy could see darker days if the government continues to misuse public funds. Referencing the unfolding nepotism scandal at oil refinery Petrojam, which has triggered a rash of high-profile resignations, Phillips, the opposition leader, argued that the political directorate was complicit in incentivizing corruption. The money that gets siphoned off into the pockets of a few is money that would be of vital use in repairing our health system, educational system, and our security services system, said Phillips, speaking at a Manchester Chamber of Commerce meeting on Thursday. It is the cause of the loss of Jamaica's reputation as stated in the Corruption Perception Index, and Jamaica's standing in the world in that regard has lowered between last year and this year, and they specifically mention Petrojam in their findings. Phillips, a former Minister of Finance, said that corruption remained a major impediment to growth, inhibiting investor interest and potentially blacklisting the country. Bad money drives out good. Any country that becomes known to be a haven for corruption will find that the name brand investors of the world will stay away. Phillips argued that recent disclosures, ranging from the misuse of funds in the relocation of the Ministry of Local Government to the $17 million Montego Bay welcome sign to an investigation into cronyism at National Energy Solutions Limited, are evidence of state mismanagement and indifference. The money, could have hired an additional 25 teachers for a year. This is the consequence of the mismanagement and corruption in our ability to grapple with the real problems, he told the audience. Tourism Ministry clears the air on UNWTO conference bags controversy. The Ministry of Tourism was this week forced to go on the defensive after it and the government were recently blasted by the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, JAMAICA, over the decision to use imported memorabilia to promote brand Jamaica at the recently concluded World Tourism Organization (UNWTO) Conference on Jobs and Inclusive Growth. According to media reports, at least one foreign journalist who attended the event in Montego Bay, St. James, questioned how the conference bags and their contents, which included banned single-use plastic bags, could have made in China labels on them. The initial response of the JAMAICA came in light of the fact that the conference targeted small and medium tourism enterprises, SMTEs. There was backlash from some quarters, with the influential JAMAICA questioning why a Jamaican company, in particular, one in the SMTE sector, was not given the opportunity to manufacture the products despite their capacity to do so. However, the Tourism Ministry, through its conference organizing committee, has sought to clear the air on the controversy. In a statement, the ministry said the conference bags and items within the bags were indeed sourced and procured through a local manufacturing company for the conference. According to the ministry, conference bags and items within the bags were sourced and procured through a local manufacturing company which has been in operation for 40 years and is CARICOM export certified. It said the UNWTO was not a part of the procurement of these conference bags and their items. The Ministry of Tourism has consistently supported small and medium tourism suppliers through various initiatives to help them secure more business and will continue to do so, the news release said. It added that it also established 5 tourism linkages networks, namely gastronomy, sports and entertainment, health and wellness, shopping, and knowledge. This is with a view to driving programs and projects that create more economic opportunities for small providers of goods and services within tourism. All these networks are led and supported by leading members of Jamaica's business community, the statement said. However, the JAMAICA also expressed its disappointment that single-use plastic bags, which have been banned in Jamaica since January 1, were found inside the conference bags. This demonstrates a lack of consistency in the government itself in implementing its own policy. The occurrence is indeed ironic, as tourism is dependent on a sustainable natural environment, it concluded. KD raises concern about government's silence on crisis in Venezuela. Opposition Senator KD Knight has warned that there could be serious destabilization of the Caribbean region as a result of the deepening crisis in Venezuela. At the same time, Knight has described as troubling what he said is the continued silence of the Andrew Holness-led government on the unfolding crisis in the South American country. Knight made the assertion while speaking in the Senate on Friday. He pointed out that he had, 2 weeks earlier, asked the leader of government business in the Senate, Kamina Johnson-Smith, to state Jamaica's position on Venezuela. However, she was not in the Senate last week, and she was again absent on Friday. In Johnson-Smith's absence, Senator Ruel Reid, who deputized for her on Friday, said he had discussed the issue with the Senate leader earlier in the day. However, his answer did not find favor with Knight. Unfortunately, we're not in a position to make a statement just yet. We're still, as was expressed last week, still evaluating the matters, so we expect that, as soon as is possible, a statement will be issued, said Reid. That response did not go down well with Knight. I hear what the acting leader is saying, but some actions have been taken, some decisions have been made. So it is not that there is nothing to report to the parliament, it is that nothing is being reported, Knight said. And the veteran politician had a warning. It is a matter of importance to this country and this region. The region could be under some threat. The region could be hearing about regime change. The region could be hearing about interference in domestic affairs in a particular country. So we need to know. Jamaica could possibly become a country with Venezuelans seeking asylum status here. We need to know. There has to be some preparation. The society must know, the country must know what is the position of the government, said Knight. The situation in Venezuela became more tense on Friday with media reports that the country's self-proclaimed acting president Juan Guaidó refused to rule out the possibility of authorizing United States intervention to help force President Nicolas Maduro from power and alleviate a humanitarian crisis. The opposition leader launched a bid to oust Maduro last month, declaring himself interim president, a move recognized by the US and around 40 other countries, including 20 from the European Union. Under Maduro's stewardship, oil-rich Venezuela's economy has collapsed, leaving the country racked by hyperinflation, recession and shortages of basic necessities such as food and medicine.